Hello, everyone, and welcome to our program today. This is the Universal Peace Federation. My name is Ray LaPalkin. And today our topic, the title of our program today is IAPD Peace Forum. And we're going to be talking about a peace forum that we recently had. And first of all, let me mention that we do promote at the Universal Peace Federation interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universally shared values. So if that resonates with you, please get in touch with us. We'd like to talk to you about our programs. And the Universal Peace Federation it's a global network of individuals and organizations dedicated to building a world of peace in which everyone can live in freedom, harmony, cooperation, and prosperity. And we have a number of different organizations affiliated with the Universal Peace Federation, or I should say different of associations that are kind of sub-projects of our programs. And one of them is IAPD, which is the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development. And that's kind of the topic of our program today. And let me read a little bit about our faith leaders who are involved with the Interreligious Association. UPF maintains that any successful strategy for peace must take into account the spiritual dimension of our human identity, experience, and interactions. Based on this worldview, UPF initiated the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development as a partner organization to the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace. Through interreligious dialogue and exchange of viewpoints among the world's religions and faith-based organizations, terrorism, violent extremism, and the world's ills can be proactively addressed. Religious leaders are well situated to deal with community-based concerns and can play a significant role in reconciliation and building a culture of peace. Due to their moral authority and emphasis on human rights based on the principle that we are one family created by God, religious leaders can help rebuild divided societies and assist in humanitarian services for the alleviation of hunger, disease, and trauma due to violence and war. The world's religions and faith-based organizations can provide a unique set of valuable resources for achieving a just and peaceful world. So recently we held a World International Leadership Conference, and one of our keynote speakers was former Vice President Mike Pence. And I'd like to show you his speech here now, so please enjoy.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you for joining the program. My name is Tomiko Dagan, Senior Vice President of the Universal Peace Federation, USA, and the Program Director for the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development, IAPD Peace Forum. IAPD is a project of the Universal Peace Federation, which is an NGO in general consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. IAPD seeks the best possible practices of reconciliation and unity to build peaceful relationships among people of different cultural traditions, races, and religions. This is an important time for faith communities, especially to come together with unifying messages of hope, light, defeating darkness, and God's love at the center of our lives. Particularly, we want to reach out to the people of Ukraine and the people who are suffering from the oppression. Today, we focus on how to solve the long sufferings of the people of North and South Korea, divided over 70 years at the 38th parallel on the Korean Peninsula. We are delighted to have with us today distinguished speakers on this important topic, challenges for the faith community in peace building on the Korean Peninsula through people-to-people engagement. The moderator of today's program is Dr. Michael Jenkins, the president of UPF International and chairman of the UPF North America. Let us welcome Dr. Michael Jenkins. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Vice President Tomiko Dagan, for your leadership in the International Association for Peace and Development. It's an interreligious association, and it really brings together the best of the faith leaders from all communities. And our focus every Tuesday is on how to bring peace in the world, but in particular, we're focused on Northeast Asia. And in that light, our first speaker will be Vice President Mike Pence. Vice President Pence was born in Indiana, and he was a radio show host for a few years, and then he became a candidate for Congress and lost his first election. He wasn't going to ever run again. One of his friends, who's our IAPP, our parliamentarian global leader, Congressman Dan Burton, he was able to encourage Vice President Pence to reconsider. He ran again and he won, and he came soon into the ranks of leadership in Congress. Then he came to Indiana, ran for governor and won, and we know the rest of the story. He became Vice President of the United States from 2017, 2021. He made a courageous stand on January 6th. He did not believe he had the authority to change the outcome of the election, and he believed that the election was already decided by the states, and he affirmed it along with the Senate. And then he became very close with our work for global peace. And he spoke in Korea just last February on 2 occasions. And then he also came with us via video to do a rally, a prayer rally for the peaceful reunification of Korea. He's a very strong Christian, coming from a Catholic background, but he moved forward to be evangelical. And I think you will really enjoy his message. We have tremendous program for you today. Let's welcome the video of Vice President Michael Pence.
Distinguished leaders, ladies and gentlemen, I'm former Vice President Mike Pence. Before I begin, let me take a moment to wish you all a Happy New Year. I know that with your continued work and your prayers, we can make 2022 a historic year for the people of the Korean Peninsula, the Asia Pacific, and the entire world. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you once again. It's been my honor to address the Rally of Hope on 2 previous occasions, and at the Think Tank 2022 Forum, which included thoughtful panel discussions by experts from America, Japan, and Korea. I also had a unique opportunity to speak with a North Korean defector, and I was profoundly encouraged and inspired to hear her express her passion and love for freedom and democracy. The Bible tells us that blessed are the peacemakers, so today I commend all of you for coming together at this important event to continue sowing the seeds of peace, knowing that in time we will reap a harvest of peace if we do not give up. And finally, I want to thank Dr. Moon for hosting this important event and for faithfully continuing the work she began with her late husband. Thank you, Dr. Moon, for the shining example you've set for the world. During my 4 years as Vice President, at home and abroad, I saw firsthand the truly great nations embrace the principles of freedom, beginning with religious liberty, freedom of speech, democracy, and free enterprise. We all know that strong families, education, equal treatment under the law, and a recognition of the dignity and worth of every human life, born and unborn, is the foundation of true national greatness. These are the values that have united the people of Korea and the United States for nearly 70 years. They're the same values that my father, U.S. Army Lieutenant Ed Pence, and freedom-loving Americans and Koreans just like him fought to defend in the Korean War. And they're the same values I stood for when I served as Vice President of the United States. America was founded on the principle that we are, all of us, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. And religious freedom is the first freedom enshrined in the Bill of Rights of the United States Constitution. I know I speak on behalf of millions of Americans when I say how proud we are to stand with the people of the Republic of Korea, Japan, and across this region in defense of religious liberty. We believe that every human being should have the freedom to live, to work, to worship according to the dictates of their conscience. And with one voice, we condemn the repression of Christians and Jews and Muslims and religious minorities taking place in North Korea and China as we gather. We pray for an end to that persecution. And we call on leaders across the world to work together to bring justice for all who are at this very hour being persecuted for their faith. Now, we know that nothing is impossible with God. And when nations work together openly and in good faith, we can achieve great strides for peace, which is exactly what we proved for 4 years under the Trump-Pence administration. Under our administration, the alliance between America and freedom-loving nations across the Asia-Pacific grew stronger than ever before. And that was especially true for the relationship between the United States and our allies in Korea and Japan. Our commitment to our common defense remained unshakable. We stood firm against common adversaries, even as we worked in good faith to turn adversaries into friends. We improved our trading relationship and reaffirmed America's commitment to support the Republic of Korea, Japan, and our allies in the region. And we proved that peace follows strength. When I represented the United States at the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang in 2018 and met with North Korean defectors at the Chinoan Memorial, few people imagined that we would see leaders of the United States and North Korea sitting down to discuss peace later that same year. But at the historic summit in Singapore, we proved it was possible, and nuclear testing in North Korea stopped. But weakness arouses evil. And with North Korea once again working to expand its nuclear capabilities, and just this month launching another ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan, I fervently hope that the Biden administration displays the American strength the world needs across the region, even while continuing to build on our progress toward peace. A renewed and unwavering commitment to our common defense and our shared values is the surest pathway to a final and fully verified denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and to the peaceful unification of Korea that we all long to see. But now more than ever, we need to have faith. We gather at a time of both immense challenge and unprecedented opportunity. Renewed threats from North Korea, continued military provocations by China, supply chain disruptions and inflation are adding to the heartbreak and hardship inflicted on the world by the coronavirus pandemic. I'm proud to say, thanks to Operation Warp Speed, funded by the American people, the United States developed 3 safe and effective vaccines in record time. And today, over 9 billion doses of that vaccine have been administered worldwide, saving millions of lives. As we undertake the urgent work of healing our nations and restoring our economies, it's important to remember that our task is not merely to rebuild the world of the past, but guided by our faith and our love of freedom, we must strive to forge a brighter future for all our citizens. To that end, free nations of the world must call upon China to respect religious liberty, democratic principles, freedom of navigation, and to do their part to achieve the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Appeasement has never worked a single time in history, and it won't work now. In fact, appeasing China will only embolden other international actors, like Russia, in its continuing and aggressive posturing toward Ukraine. Freedom-loving nations of the world cannot allow China and Russia to trample the liberty of our friends and allies or redraw international lines by force. We must pray for our leaders and ensure that our leaders send an unambiguous message that aggression will not be tolerated. Despite the many challenges we face, I remain supremely confident that a brighter future is on the horizon for the United States, the Korean people, and for our allies across the Asia-Pacific. If we continue to have faith, and if we continue to stand with one another for freedom and security. Because while we may call different nations home, our societies share a common foundation in the values we hold dear. We believe in limited government and in individual freedom. We believe that every citizen has the right to speak his or her mind, and we believe that every man, woman, and child must have the freedom to worship and believe according to the dictates of their conscience. It's this last belief in religious liberty and the strength we draw from there that gives me my greatest confidence and hope. The future favors faith. It's faith that gives us the courage and conviction to stand for what's good and right and true, for people not only in our own nations, but for people everywhere. As the Bible says, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom. And I truly believe with all my heart that faith holds the hope for peace for the people of the Korean Peninsula. And that if we have faith, the day will arrive when a great land, once divided by war, can become one nation, one people, united in freedom and peace. My faith tells me that we are to trust in the Lord with all our heart, lean not on our own understanding, acknowledge Him in all our ways, and He'll make our path straight. And I believe He will direct our path toward peace, toward security, and toward freedom for all the freedom-loving nations across the Asia Pacific and for the world. To everyone participating in this Interfaith Rally of Hope, thank you for the privilege of addressing you today, and thank you for your prayers. I urge you to keep working, keep striving, keep believing, and never give up. Never become weary in doing good, and have faith that in the proper time we will reap a harvest of peace if we don't give up. And I believe with all my heart that your labors on behalf of peace for the Korean people, the Asia Pacific, and the world are not in vain. So thank you. May God bless you all with a peaceful and prosperous new year.
Thank you, Vice President Pence. What a wonderful presentation. We really appreciate you.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that video. And I find it very encouraging to see our political leaders quoting the Bible and speaking on faith and religious values and how we can integrate, or how we should integrate, faith and these values into our country and today. So that's very encouraging to me. At this time, I'd like to read a little bit for you. This is from one of our co-founders, Reverend Sun Myung Moon, from his autobiography. And the topic is Embrace the World. Setting a goal in life is similar to planting a tree. If you plant a jujube tree in your front yard, you will have jujubes in your home. If you plant apple trees on the hill behind your home, then they will produce apples. Think carefully about your choice of goals and where you intend to plant them. Depending on the goal you choose and where you plant it, you can become a jujube tree or an apple tree. Or you can become a palm tree in the South Pacific. The goal you plant will bear fruit in the future. Think carefully where the best place is to plant your goal so that it will bear the best fruit. When you are setting your goal, be sure to consider the entire world. Consider Africa, which continues to suffer from poverty and disease. Consider Israel and Palestine, where people continue to aim their weapons at each other and fight over matters of religion. Consider Afghanistan, where people barely keep themselves alive by raising poppies used to make harmful drugs. Consider the United States, where extreme greed and selfishness have contributed to the global economic crisis. Consider Indonesia, Haiti, and Chile, which have suffered from earthquakes and tidal waves. Imagine yourself in the context of those countries and think which country and which situation would be the most appropriate for you. It may be that you are best suited to India, where a new religious conflict may erupt. Or it could be Rwanda, where language is in drought and hunger. Think of the world as your stage as you decide what you want to live and what you want to do in your life. If you do, you will likely find many things to do than you originally were dreaming of. You have only one life to live, so use it to do something the world needs. You cannot reach the hidden treasure on an island without adventure. Please think beyond your own country and think of the world as your stage in setting your goals. To be a global leader, a person must think of the world's problems as his own and have the pioneering spirit that is needed in finding difficult solutions. A person who is attached to a secure and fixed income or dreams of having a pension after retirement and a comfortable family life cannot be a global leader. To become a global leader, a person must consider the whole world to be his country and all humanity to be his brothers and sisters, and not be overly concerned that he does not know what the future may hold of him. What are siblings? Why did God give us brothers and sisters? Siblings represent all human beings around the world. The experience of loving our brothers and sisters in the family teaches us how to love our fellow countrymen and love humanity. Our love for our own siblings expands in this way. The family whose members love each other is a motto of how humanity can live together in harmony. Love among siblings means that one sibling is willing to go hungry, if necessary, so that his brother and sister can eat. A global leader is someone who loves humanity as he loves his own family. It has been quite a while since we first heard the phrase global village, yet the earth has always been a single community. If a person's goal in life is to graduate from a university, get a job with a company that will pay him a high salary, and lead a secure life, then that person will have the success of a puppy. But if he dedicates his life to helping refugees in Africa, he will have the success of a lion. The course that it chooses, and that is chosen by anyone, depends on the heart of the individual. Even at the age of 90, I continue to travel around the world. I refuse to rest from my mission. The world is like an organism in that it's always changing. New problems are always arising. I go to the dark corners of the world where these problems exist. These are not the places with beautiful views or comfortable amenities. These are places that I feel happy in, even though they are dark, difficult, and lonely, because that's where I'm fulfilling my mission, my purpose, and my goals. My hope is that everyone in Korea and the rest of the world will produce global leaders in the true sense. I hope to see more political leaders who will lead the UN to fulfill its purpose, and more diplomatic leaders who will stop the fighting in areas of conflict. I hope to see someone like Mother Teresa who will take care of those wandering and dying on the streets. I hope to see peace leaders who will take on my mission of pioneering new solutions from the land and the sea. The starting point is to have a dream and a goal. Please have an adventure and pioneering spirit. Dream dreams that others dare not imagine. Set goals for yourselves that have meaning, and become a global leader who will bring benefit to humanity. So if these ideas resonate with you, the concept of spirituality in our nation and trying to revive Godism in our country, please get in touch with us. We do have many programs, webinars, educational programs that address these issues. And if you're interested in a copy, complimentary, of Reverend Moon's autobiography, or the other co-founder, his wife, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, her memoir, please get in touch with us. So thank you very much for joining us today.